When was the first time you won something? Like, what age were you when you like got your first trophy, so to speak?
I actually don't know the first time I won, but I do remember my first like big tournament that I played in without my dad caddying for me, and it was up in Flagstaff, which is like northern Arizona. You know, I remember going into my parents' room in the morning and I was like, I'm so excited, like I'm gonna do so good today and all this stuff. And I remember my parents being like, you know, just do your best and whatever the result is, like it's fine. And I was like, I'm gonna win. And I went to this tournament and I came in third out of 4 people. So didn't quite hit my expectations, but I did get a trophy, so I was really excited about that. I grew up in Peoria, Arizona. Lived there my whole life until I came to college. Peoria is the northwest part of Phoenix, still very city, kind of a little bit more suburban. Everything's kind of really spread out, so where I live, we're about 15 to 20 minutes away from the golf course. It's in the desert, so it's hot. It's very hot all the time, which is great for golf because you can play golf year round, doesn't snow or anything, so that's always beneficial. My parents both grew up in Arizona as well, and then I have 2 younger sisters. One of them is 17 and the other one's 11. 17-year-old, still in high school, but she's really into theater and cosmetology. And then my 11-year-old sister does gymnastics and is like really good. So hopefully a couple years down the road we'll have another Bama student athlete in the family, so that would be cool. My parents were also student athletes when they were in college. My dad played baseball, my mom played softball. Their junior year, both ended up at Alabama, and that's where they met. My dad was on the 97 and 98 teams, and same for my mom. And for my mom, that was the inaugural year for softball, so she kind of started the program here with Coach Murphy. My dad just likes to play golf for fun, and when I was about 4 years old, he bought like a family membership at a country club, and so, you know, we would just all go out as a family and play for fun and hit balls and whatever. And but growing up, I played softball, and I was really good at hitting, not so good at the catching portion. So my parents were like, well, you know, you want to try a sport that's just hitting? So I kind of just fell into golf a little bit more and ended up really loving it. So stopped playing softball and just went all in on golf.
Were you like a natural, or did you have like a work ethic that got you there?
I would say definitely more towards the work ethic side. It was funny, actually, a couple weeks ago, I was looking back at like old videos on my phone and I saw like an old swing video from when I first started, and I was like, wow, like made some progress, which is good. I think I've always kind of had work ethic, and I think that definitely comes from my parents. But I really enjoy kind of to challenge myself, and so I think with golf especially, it's a very challenging sport. And so to be able to like kind of always have something that I could work on and improve on was really intriguing to me. And so I had swing coaches growing up and worked with them, and to kind of see myself improve over the years was kind of also one of the factors that like pushed me to keep going. For NCAA, you can only have a required of 20 hours a week for practice and lifts. We have 2 hours a week of required lift, usually Tuesday and Thursday mornings. And then we'll have 4 hours on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and usually Saturday or Sunday. And then on Tuesday and Thursday, we'll have 2 or 3 hours of practice. And then we get 1 off day a week. Usually it's Monday. Practice, it's a lot of individual work. We'll go to the range and work on mechanics, or go to the short game area and do drills or putting drills. Usually on our 4-hour practice days, we go out and play 18 holes, and we'll walk and kind of simulate tournaments, and we'll do qualifying and stuff like that to see who travels. Golf is a very individual sport, so a lot of the tournaments I played in was completely individualized. When I first started out in some of the junior tournaments, your parent can caddy for you, so my dad would usually caddy for me in these tournaments, and so it would just be me and him out there. And then once you get to a certain level, then caddies go away and it's just you. And then when I got to middle school, the middle school I went to had a small golf team, and so I joined that team just for fun, and it was just in the fall, and so it was nice to, have other kids my age to play with. But most of my serious tournaments and competition was still individualized, and then same thing into high school. Played on the high school team and kind of built up that program over my 4 years there. And by junior year in high school, I won state individually and qualified to go to nationals, where I finished second. And then my senior year, we won as a team. So the whole team got to go to nationals, which was really cool. I think my most memorable win was state in high school when I won as an individual, because my whole team was there. Not to make it sound sad, but it's kind of lonely sometimes, right? Like, you don't really get to celebrate with a lot of other people. But that junior year, I actually won in a playoff, and so my whole team was there watching. I was playing pretty well the first 2 days, and then got to the third day, didn't really do my best, and I was sitting in second or third when I finished. And this one girl, her name was Jennifer Sayo, she was beating me by 5 strokes, and she had 3 holes left. She bogeys her third to last holes, and then she gets a triple on her second to last hole. I'm watching her come in on 18, kind of holding my breath, and she lips out this putt, and now we're tied. And the way playoffs work in golf is that they'll pick a hole, and it's sudden death. We're teeing off on hole number 10, par 4. I go first, and I'm shaking, because you basically have the entire tournament field and all the spectators sitting watching, and this is really the first big playoff that I've ever kind of been in. And so I'm shaking on this tee box, and I hit this really weak drive. Didn't go very far, but it was in the fairway, so it was good enough. She hits it pretty decent, so her drive's a little bit in front of mine. I get to my ball, I hit it, I stick it to 6 feet. And my coach, who was previously the high school football coach, as a football coach would, and gives me a huge chest bump and knocks me to the floor because he's so excited. And I'm okay, we gotta calm down. There's still a lot to go. And then she hits it just outside of mine. So now we've both got this downhill kind of sliding putt, and she putts first and lips it out and taps in par. So now it's my turn, and I'm sitting there and I'm okay, if I make this, we win. If not, I go to another hole. So I read my putt, set up, I hit my putt, and I blacked out.
Yeah! Let's go!
I don't remember seeing the ball go in the hole. I can't, everything went dead silent. And then all of a sudden, I come to, and my teammates are rushing me and pick me up on the green, and my coach is carrying me, and everyone's screaming, and I'm oh my gosh, I just did it. And it was the coolest experience ever, one of my best memories. I was sobbing, and my parents were sobbing, and my football golf coach was doing laps around the green. Yeah, everyone is super excited, and yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. When I was younger, I played softball. That was kind of in my head where I was going. I was gonna follow my parents' footsteps. I was gonna play softball.
For Alabama?
For Alabama. But the plan didn't change very much. I was still, gonna go to college for golf, and recruiting time came around. And so I had been talking with a couple universities, but the main one was University of Illinois, and they offered me a good scholarship, and so I committed there and was really excited about the opportunity. And I spent my freshman year at the University of Illinois. Wasn't quite what I was expecting or hoping for. Just didn't quite feel like the right fit for me, and so I decided to hop in the portal. So I sent Mick and Susan, who's my golf coaches here, an email, and I name dropped about every single person that I could think of, and I was like, please just let me come here. Like, I would be so honored to come here. And they said they had a spot available, but I would have to be essentially a walk-on my first year here. I came here my sophomore year, worked my butt off, tried to do anything that I could do to improve and play as best I could, and I eventually earned my scholarship, so that was really exciting. And I think that was kind of the moment that I was like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. I think every student athlete comes into college with, goals and aspirations of what they want to accomplish. Some things you accomplish and it's great, and other things, life doesn't always work out the way you plan, but I've really enjoyed playing on Alabama's team. I've met some great girls. We've won a couple tournaments, which was really fun to be a part of and a great experience. I've accomplished what I've wanted to academically, so that's all really exciting. And then, I'm a business management and entrepreneurship major, and I've had a chance to kind of explore that a little bit, and I've, started my own nonprofit.
The University of Alabama's women's golfer Mattison Frick is working to break down financial barriers in youth sports.
I started a nonprofit called Gear Up that focuses on redistributing new and gently used sports equipment to underserved kids in the Tuscaloosa community.
Frick says every year, collegiate athletes receive new gear and the old gear piles up.
But we're not allowed to sell any of it or get rid of it or whatever, so it just kind of sits there. And in my head, I was like, well, that just doesn't seem right to have kids down the road who can't afford any of this and therefore can't play. I could see how fortunate and how lucky all of us are here at the university with all the great opportunities and things that we get through being student athletes. I just thought that if we had the opportunity to help, then we should.
Frick is getting all UA student athletes across all sports involved. Players will drop off their lightly used gear to gear up Tuscaloosa City School children.
The idea for the event is each athletic team is going to have kind of a booth set up where they have something to do with their sport. Golf can have a putting mat, volleyball, may have a net set up with little drills that they can do. So kids can come and interact with each of the different sports and see if anything gets them excited about playing. And then the second part of the event is it's also a donation drive. Student athletes, along with community members, can bring sports equipment that, maybe is just sitting around in their garage or in their apartments. Through our partnership with Tuscaloosa City Schools, we'll be able to distribute the donations to, the kids and the families that need it most. I'm not taking this all for granted. I'm very thankful for the opportunities I've been given and the chances, and I'd like to, provide that to somebody else and pass that along as well. There's a lot of mixed emotions, coming into graduation. I've absolutely loved my time here at Alabama, so kind of sad to be leaving. Feels like I just got here, to be honest, so it's kind of crazy how fast time flies by. But at the same time, I'm really excited for the future, and I just got accepted to do a master's program in Scotland next year at the University of St. Andrews, so I'm going to be playing golf as part of the St. Andrews team. That's super exciting. Past school, I'm looking more into getting more into the business world and probably closing a little bit of that golf chapter. Golf will always be a part of my life. I think I'll always play for fun, but kind of moving on. My name's Mattison Frick. I'm a student athlete on the women's golf team at the University of Alabama, and this is my story.